Kyung-min is a reclusive schoolgirl who finds herself without any friends. She once had a close friendship with Lee, but Lee has since chosen to spend time with Han Sol, her new companion. That evening, Kyung-min decides to follow them to a train station. The following day, Kyung-min is reported missing, prompting her homeroom teacher to question Lee. The teacher seeks to understand the events leading up to her disappearance, subtly implying that Lee may have said something to Kyung-min that could have influenced her actions. Meanwhile, Lee is grappling with her own feelings of guilt and is unable to share much information. In a troubling turn of events, the police discover Kyung-min's backpack in a river and begin searching the vicinity for clues. They release a dummy into the water, hoping it will lead them to her body. The next day, the principal holds discussions with the teachers regarding the possibility of Kyung-min's suicide. Kyung-min's homeroom teacher describes her as an exceptional student, yet hints at a darker side to her personality. Concurrently, the police and Kyung-min's mother arrive at the school to continue their investigation. They review CCTV footage that shows Kyung-min walking with Lee and even sharing a kiss that night before she vanished. The police analyze additional CCTV from the area and determine that Lee was the last person to see Kyung-min alive. After briefing the teachers on the situation, the police begin questioning other students. They reveal that while Kyung-min was intelligent, she often felt isolated due to her lack of shared interests with her peers. Finally, it's Lee's turn to provide her testimony. She is questioned again about the events of that night. She recounts everything that happened, but the police persistently press her for a confession. There's also a rumor circulating among the girls that Lee wished for Kyung-min to die, which could explain her sudden disappearance. Just then, Han Sol arrives. It turns out Han Sol has given a different account, placing the blame on Lee. She claims that Kyung-min was in love with Lee and that Lee told her to prove it by sacrificing her life. Lee insists she was joking, as the atmosphere was lighthearted, contrary to Han Sol's testimony. However, Kyung-min's mother cannot handle Lee's response and confronts her directly. The police then escort the mother out and allow Han Sol to leave the room. The detective resumes questioning Lee, suggesting that she may have stirred Kyung-min's emotions that night. The detective reveals CCTV footage of their kiss, leaving Lee speechless. Eventually, she admits that Kyung-min had always expressed a desire to die and had shared her suicidal thoughts with her that night, prompting Lee to share her own plan in an attempt to comfort her. Unbeknownst to Lee, Kyung-min misinterpreted her words and jumped off the bridge that night. After the interrogation, Lee is overwhelmed with guilt over her friend's fate. When she returns to class, she discovers the girls rifling through her things in search of Kyung-min's will, as instructed by the teacher. Later that day, Mother discreetly follows Lee as she searches for Kyung-min. She remains convinced that Kyung-min is still alive and is playing a trick on her by disappearing, which Mother finds deeply offensive and confronts her about. Unfortunately, she returns home that night empty-handed. Meanwhile, a group of bullies pressures Han Sol to lead them to Lee's house. Reluctant to comply, Han Sol is relentlessly coerced by the bullies. They eventually locate her home and start to vandalize her belongings. They even force Han Sol to cut Lee's shoes with a knife while recording the act. Suddenly, Lee breaks through her window and rushes out to scare them off. However, she is outnumbered, and the bullies attack her, beating her mercilessly and threatening her with a knife. In the chaos, they accidentally scratch her face before fleeing, leaving Lee in agony. Shortly after, Lee's father arrives, but instead of offering support, he scolds her and tells her to behave. The following day, the police return to search the river again. They use a barbed metal pole to sift through the riverbed in hopes of finding any trace of Kyung-min's body. Unfortunately, their efforts yield no results due to the rocky terrain. Frustrated by the unsuccessful search, the police decide to end the operation, much to Mother's dismay. To make matters worse, her husband seems more focused on the insurance claims related to Kyung-min than on their missing daughter. He even blames her for the situation, leading to a near accident that night. The following day, the police discover Kyung-min's lifeless body. A wake is promptly arranged to pay tribute to him, attended by his family, teachers, classmates, and law enforcement. Lee arrives, intending to change her statement to the police, but her teacher pulls her aside. She confesses that Kyung-min was destined to take his own life that night, regardless of her words. This guilt weighs heavily on her, as she admits to her teacher that she had contemplated suicide long before Kyung-min's tragedy. Instead of offering comfort, the teacher scolds her and strikes her, perceiving her thoughts as a personal affront. During the farewell ceremony, Lee writes a will and consumes a mysterious poison. It reacts violently within her, causing her to cough up blood as her insides burn with agony. Just as she is about to lose consciousness, help arrives. In her final moments, memories of Kyung-min flash before her eyes, and she is rushed to the hospital. Lee's actions quickly become gossip among the girls, leading to false rumors that further isolate her at school. Some believe she attempted this for sympathy after Kyung-min's death. However, not all the girls share this view. Some rally around her, and even the bullies begin to question Han Sol's misleading testimony. Later, the school and Kyung-min's mother visit Lee. Sadly, her organs are severely damaged, leaving her unable to eat or speak without assistance. Upon learning of her condition, Lee's father insists that Kyung-min's mother keep her distance, fearing it will only exacerbate the situation. Yet, he finds himself powerless, as much of Lee's medical expenses are covered by Kyung-min's insurance. In the hospital, Lee's recovery is monitored carefully. She confides in her psychologist about the lingering guilt she feels over her friend's death, even after all this time. When she returns to her room, she finds Kyung-min's mother has come to deliver her late daughter's belongings. The mother continues to blame Lee for her daughter's death, leading to a confrontation with Lee's father. That evening, Han Sol visits Lee to reconcile. She shares that she had an argument with Kyung-min that night regarding Kyung-min's brave actions towards Lee. Kyung-min had insisted on proving her threats of self-harm to Han Sol, who, wanting Lee for herself, did nothing to intervene. Although Han Sol knows she should have stopped Kyung-min, she redirects her guilt onto Lee. To everyone's surprise, Lee finds relief in forgiving Han Sol. Eventually, Lee is discharged from the hospital. As she enters her classroom, the teacher insensitively tells her to forget the past to help her heal. The class reacts with shock upon seeing her. Using sign language, she vows to take revenge by ending her life, but no one comprehends her message, and they awkwardly applaud her. This incident leads to Lee gaining many sympathizers and new friends, with Han Sol even assisting her with her special needs. In addition, the bullies who regret their actions have taken the girl responsible for spreading false rumors about Lee. Lee hits her repeatedly, but eventually stops and forgives her when he notices her genuine remorse. That night, Lee's friends plot revenge against their homeroom teacher, who keeps suspecting Lee in the Kyung-min case. They set him up by making a false claim that he has sexually harassed one of the girls. This accusation reaches the principal, prompting the teacher to confront the girl who started the rumors. However, she continues to taunt him, which infuriates him. He strikes her several times, causing only minor injuries. In response, the girl intentionally worsens her injuries, leading to an investigation by the police. Meanwhile, Kyung-min's mother is still hanging around the school, attempting to make a donation in her late daughter's name to gain favor with her classmates. The principal, however, dismisses her proposal. When Lee encounters Kyung-min's mother at school, it makes her uncomfortable. This meeting prompts Lee to remember her promise and visit Kyung-min's mother for closure. The mother quickly invites them to a restaurant. During dinner, Han Sol reveals to the mother that Kyung-min wasn't as wonderful as she believed, and that she jumped off the bridge because she felt no one would care if she died. Mother disapproves and rejects the claim. With labored breaths, Lee expresses that she could have intervened with Kyung-min that night, but she fully embraced her idea instead. She then pledges to end her life tonight, intending to place the blame on Mother, similar to what she experienced with Kyung-min. Unable to handle Lee's response, Mother attempts to stab her in the chest but fails. Ultimately, Lee walks through the tunnel to fulfill her promise and escape the harsh reality of her life. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for more content like this. Thank you for watching.